Hello my viewers and welcome to a thought-provoking video where Dr. Myles Munroe shares invaluable insights into the socio-economic dynamics that have historically plagued formerly oppressed nations, particularly those in Africa and beyond. Now, Dr. Munroe astutely addresses the pervasive question of why many countries in the global south struggle with corrupt leadership and economic stagnation. He sheds light on the enduring legacy of oppression and exploitation, emphasizing how systemic barriers have hindered the development and empowerment of these communities. So join me as we take a look into Dr. Munroe's compelling analysis, which serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of understanding the root causes of societal challenges and advocating for meaningful change. With that said, take a look at this video.
You know, people ask me many times, why are third world leaders corrupt? I mean, every country in Africa has leadership problems. Every country in the Caribbean has leadership problems. You know why? It's simple. I figured it out. It's very simple. Why are there so many lack of great leaders in your country among black African people? Or even Mexicans, the Asian people? Why is there such lack of leadership in these formerly oppressed countries? Here's why. Because the oppressor did not do what Jesus said. He made sure you never knew what he knew. Now, these are very interesting people, you know. They're interesting. Here's what they do. They say, okay, we ain't going to teach you nothing that we know. So all we're going to teach you is how to grow cane and cotton. Pick cotton, that's all you have to do. Go get water. That's it. You don't need to know anything else, they say. And so for 294 years, you become an expert cotton picker, an excellent cane cutter. But the problem is, he doesn't teach you how to make the cane into sugar. He doesn't teach you how to turn the cotton into cloth. He keeps that to himself. After a while, you become unruly because you multiply. And so you tell him, there's more of us than you. We're going to kill you if you don't let us go. So he does something very simple. Every single situation is the same. He said, okay, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. Tell you what, you could have the cotton field and you could have the cane because I don't want to fight you. I'm gone. And he leaves. So here you are. You call yourself free now because you got a cotton field and a cane. The problem is, he trained you to wear clothes and to drink tea with sugar. You didn't hear what I just said. That's too deep. He conditioned you to wear his clothes and to drink tea with sugar. And he leaves you with a sugarcane field and a lot of cotton. Sharp guy. They're smart. After a few years, you begin to realize, I can't wear cotton and I can't put cane in tea. So he comes back. And he says, what's your problem? You say, look, I can't turn cotton into cloth. He said, okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy the cotton from you at my price because you can't use it. So you can't set the price because you can't use it. I'll tell you how much I'm going to buy it from you for. I'll buy the cane. You cut it at my price. So they take it away and they turn it into cloth and sugar. Then they come back to you and they sell you the sugar at their price and the cloth at their price. And here you are now, instead of being directly oppressed, you are economically oppressed. They didn't train you to be producers. And now you thought you were free. So the kind of seminars I have is the seminars that help you learn how to make sugar. The kind of work I do is to teach you how to turn cotton into cloth. So that you become free to get your farms back and know how to convert cotton into cloth. And instead of just being consumers, you become producers. This is leadership. So what they do is they don't teach you how to lead. They don't teach you how to operate anything. And then when they leave you, they say, take charge. So here's the African guy in Ghana. You know, the British is gone, and they never teach him how to be a leader like them. And he got power, he got all this country, he got this, but he ain't got no training. And so we have a slave wearing a crown. Woe to the land when a slave becomes king. Words of Solomon. Now what I think is unfair is that they come back later and say, see, you can't rule. I told you, you ain't born to rule. Look how you messed up your country. Corruption, abuse, you know, and this. And what they don't know is that they are the blame. They never trained me. You don't understand what I'm talking about. How How can you set me up to fail and then tell me I failed? Oh, come on, clap. You get what I'm talking about. We got to get this right. You don't prepare me for failure and then say, I failed. I blame you for my failure because you never trained me to be a leader. It is enough for the teacher to make the student just like him. I guess you could say my conclusion is, and I say this to all the governments I work with, the failure of third world countries is evidence of the failure of the colonial powers. They must take the blame. And that's why I am traveling every week to a third world country, sitting with parliaments and congresses and heads of state, and I lock them up for 3 days. Why? I got to correct what those leaders never did. I have to somehow solve 200 years of history in 2 days. That's a lot of hard work, but we have to. Your problem is you don't believe you could turn cotton into cloth. And I've come to tell you, you can.
Now, Dr. Myles Munroe's insights into the systemic issues affecting formerly oppressed nations, particularly those with predominantly black populations, are profoundly thought-provoking and resonate deeply with the experiences of many. His analysis of the economic oppression perpetuated by historical injustices sheds light on the enduring impact of colonialism and exploitation. The analogy he presents, likening the situation of being left with only the ability to grow raw materials without the knowledge of infrastructure to process them into finished goods, poignantly illustrates the economic disparity and dependency faced by many nations in the global south. Now, this lack of capacity not only perpetuates a cycle of poverty, but also leaves these countries vulnerable to exploitation by external forces. Dr. Munroe's observation that economic oppression often replaces direct forms of oppression highlights the insidious nature of systemic inequalities. While overt forms of oppression may diminish over time, the legacy of economic exploitation persists, perpetuating cycles of dependency and hindering the socio-economic advancement of black communities. The implications of these dynamics are far-reaching, impacting not only economic prosperity but also political stability and social cohesion within these nations. Corrupt leadership, driven by self-interest and often complicit in perpetuating these inequalities, further exacerbates the challenges faced by black people. His commentary serves as a powerful call to action, urging us to confront the root causes of economic oppression and advocate for systemic change. It underscores the importance of empowering communities with the knowledge, resources, and opportunities necessary to break free from cycles of exploitation and build a more equitable future. Now, many formerly colonized nations, particularly in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, endured centuries of exploitation by European powers. Colonialism often involved the extraction of natural resources and the forced labor of indigenous populations to fuel the economic growth of colonizing nations. Now, this historical legacy laid the foundation for enduring economic disparities and power imbalances between the colonizers and the colonized. So the legacy of colonialism created structural inequalities that continue to shape global economic systems. Systems of racism and discrimination have perpetuated disparities in wealth, access to education, and economic opportunity, disproportionately affecting black and indigenous communities. Now, these systemic injustices contribute to the perpetuation of economic oppression. Despite gaining independence, many formerly colonized nations remain economically dependent on former colonial powers and multinational corporations. Neo-colonial practices such as unequal trade agreements, debt dependency, and resource extraction maintain economic subjugation and hinder self-sufficiency and development efforts. In a global capitalist system, profit motives often drive exploitation and economic oppression. Multinational corporations and powerful economic interests prioritize maximizing profits, often at the expense of marginalized communities. Exploitative labor practices, environmental degradation, and unequal distribution of wealth exacerbate economic disparities disproportionately, impacting black and indigenous populations. Economic oppression serves to maintain power and privilege for dominant racial and economic groups by perpetuating economic disparities. Now, those in positions of power can exert control over resources, manipulate markets, and maintain social hierarchies. This consolidation of power reinforces existing inequalities and undermines efforts towards social and economic justice. Now, while these factors provide insight into why economic oppression persists, it's important to recognize that dismantling systemic injustice requires collective action, solidarity across communities, and a commitment to challenging entrenched power structures. We have come to the end of the video. What do you have to say? Share your thoughts as well in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.